Nights of Halloween Game.
Hey everyone, I'm Matt with Pixel Brain.
And I'm Kent with Pixel Brain's Bagged and Board series. And is that a monster in your pocket, or are you just happy not to see us?
Yeah, we're going to play Monster in My Pocket. Released by Konami for the NES in 1992, Monster in My Pocket was based on a popular toy line of the same name. But the franchise itself ended up being nothing more than an early 90s fad, and therefore shouldn't be confused with Pocket Monster, which, as we all know, is a very successful franchise to this very day. So if there's no Pokeballs here, then what exactly was the appeal?
Well, similar to Pokemon, Monster in My Pocket is based on the well-worn premise of, hey, let's not get a kid to buy one thing, let's get a kid to buy a bunch of things. So children of the early 90s would collect these soft, miniature plastic figures, play with them, and, much like the name implies, carry them around in their pockets. Many of the figures were based off of the classic Universal Horror Studios monsters, Dracula, Frankenstein, Wolfman, Creature from the Black Lagoon, etc. And so you got all these tiny monsters running around, so it's a great premise to turn into a video game. You get these tiny monsters, they hop around, they watch TV, they double jump onto kitchen appliances, they throw house keys around. It's a great time for all.
And believe it or not, Kent, I did some digging, and this game isn't quite as random as it seems. Monster in My Pocket did have a short-lived comic book series that this game is apparently based off of, but nobody read it.
Okay, yeah, because when you play the game, if you don't have the instruction booklet, which we did not, there's no backstory, there's no context for what's going on. You're just tiny monsters, there's no explanation. I'm like, are they like monsters who were shrunk down? Or were they like are they just monsters who are tiny, like the aliens in Bruce Coville's Aliens Ate My Homework series, perhaps? I don't, there's no explanation. You just have to accept it.
Yeah, it's kind of like Castlevania in Andy's Room, really.
Oh, nice. Like, yeah. They should have just called it Castlevania in Andy's Room.
Right, yeah.
I'd have gone to KB Toys and bought that twice.
And Randy Newman could do the score and everything.
So the game starts with the vampire and the monster just chilling, watching a big old TV, when suddenly Warlock, their arch nemesis, bursts in, interrupts the transmission, and announces that he has sent his minions to get them. Which, if you're planning a sneak attack, maybe don't simultaneously announce to the world that tiny monsters exist, and also let the specific monsters you're attacking know that you're attacking them. It just seems counterproductive.
I know, right? Well, either way, it's up to you to take control of these pocket-sized heroes, mow through Warlock's minions, and confront him at his stronghold at Monster Mountain.
But this is no easy task. You're just an itsy-bitsy Dippin' Dot-sized monster, just navigating from one side of the kitchen to the others like crossing the Koopa-Hairy Desert.
Nice. And, similar to the Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers video game, the actual platforming is set up in a way to make you feel really small. It's a really nice touch to the levels, although, I do feel it starts to lose a little bit of its charm as soon as you get to that one level. I think it's Oriental Illusion.
Ooh, man, yeah, that was, in addition to being just abruptly racist, the Oriental Illusion level kind of breaks up the whole system they got going on. Like, oh, you're in a kitchen. Oh, you're climbing up a construction building, but you're teeny tiny. Oh, I know, what next? Asia. It's a little weird.
Yeah, Chinese stereotyping aside, there's a lot to love about this game. The first one being that it's two players. Player 1 can be the vampire, whilst player 2 is the monster.
Not Dracula, not Frankenstein's monster, just the vampire, the monster. Last thing Nintendo wants is Bram Stoker or Mary Shelley getting their grubby mitts on the residuals.
And like I said earlier, it just feels like Konami shrunk all the creatures from Castlevania and put them in more of a fun run-and-jump beat-em-up game. And, it's set in a unique setting, where you're in a house and, running around in the street and sewers and kitchens, and it's just, it doesn't seem that far off from an action-packed Toy Story prequel or something. And even as an adult, I can't help but smile when you and a buddy can slide down a giant banister and fight a snow monster inside the icebox. I mean, what are those anyway? Frozen peas?
I think so. I could never tell. But yeah, there's a lot of neat little touches that set this apart from the many similarly structured NES games of this era. You know what I liked a lot was, you know how in all these games there's always like the big item, like a big barrel or something that you pick up and throw at a guy? Oh, yeah. But if you screw it up, that goes away immediately. You get one shot to throw it and then it blinks away and disappears into the night. This game, you can pick up like giant house keys or just a bunch of different items you can pick up and throw, and you can pick that thing and throw it for as long as you can keep it on the screen. That makes me very happy.
And it makes the video game sprites very blinky because when you have all those enemies and bringing giant keys along, it starts to get a little glitchy, a little blinky.
But that's how you know the game's working overtime for your pleasure. I respect that.
Exactly. And what more can be said about the game? Halloween is all about fun, monsters, and this game has a ton of them. Only they can fit in your pocket, and they pack one hell of a punch.
Yeah, I like this game because it's just hard enough. I feel like the difficulty of NES games of that era caused a lot of personality disorders and anger management issues in children of my generation. But yeah, replaying this game, what struck me was that I kept almost wanting to throw down my controller, but never actually throwing it down, which I think is the perfect level of difficulty. It's just frustrating enough to be a lot of fun and want you to keep playing. I liked it a lot.
All right, and that'll do it for Monster My Pocket. But we're not done yet, folks. We got more great suggestions on the way to put you in the mood for some Halloween gaming goodness. Please subscribe to the DNN for more of these episodes and other cool stuff.
And if you want to see what I'm up to in that wacky web series Bagged and Bored, subscribe to Pixel Brain's YouTube channel. I'm Kent, and I play Kent, so I'm pretty much the same as I am here, except I yell a lot more, which is cool.